This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. Listen, man, I want to see Terrence Bud Crawford versus Kell Brook. I prefer that fight as opposed to Terrence Bud Crawford versus Danny Cherry Picking Garcia. And I'm going to explain why. See, what people think that happens in the amateurs doesn't always translate into the pros. I'm going to say that again. What people think that happens in the amateurs doesn't always translate in the pros. Danny Garcia won one time against Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford won once against him. So people are thinking, oh, they went 1-1 against each other in the amateurs, so it's going to translate that it's going to be a close or competitive fight. Nah. We've seen that been debunked and that misnomer been pushed to the wayside in boxing so many times, where whatever you do in the amateurs does not translate over into professional. Just look at that small little fighter Neri. Don't he got only 9 amateur fights? Look how dominant he is. You don't always need to be accomplished from an amateur standpoint, or you need to have a lot of fights, or you need to dominate in the amateurs to be dominant in the pros. Lomachenko is the asterisk to that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not always the case. Has there been a lot of fighters that have had great amateur records and then it's translated over to the pros? Yes. But that's not always the case. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys in boxing. There's anomalies. There's asterisks for a reason. Here's the thing. If Terrence Bud Crawford fights Danny Garcia, I'm saying Danny Jacobs. I'm still fresh off of this Danny Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez bullshit. But anyways, paid to lose nonsense. But if Terrence Bud Crawford and Danny Garcia fight each other, he is tailor-made. Danny Cherry Picking Garcia is tailor-made for Terrence Bud Crawford. Because Terrence Bud Crawford is going to give him a boxing lesson. Terrence Bud Crawford's ability to accelerate his punches. Terrence Bud Crawford's ability to go from the southpaw to the orthodox stance. I'm not talking about the way that Danny Jacobs does it, because Danny Jacobs is the only current boxer that I know that does it almost as much as he does it. But he still doesn't do it nowhere near the level of a Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford is damn near doing it to the level of Pernell Whitaker, man. And I'm not going to compare him to that legend, nowhere near that legend, because he still has a lot left to prove. But I'm saying in terms of his ability to switch it up. That's the comparison that I'm making. I feel that in that fight, he's going to beat Danny Garcia. Does Danny Garcia have a puncher's chance? Yes, of course he does. Danny Garcia also has good countering ability. It's above average at best, but it can be figured out. It can be exposed. And if a second-tier welterweight like a Keith Thurman was able to expose that, and a Sean Constipated Porter was able to smother that, then come on, man. Terrence Bud Crawford is a first-tier welterweight. So not only is he going to expose that, he's going to demolish it and he's going to trounce it. He's going to not only give Danny Garcia a boxing lesson, he's going to get his ass out of there. Because we know Terrence Bud Crawford has pop. He can legitimately stop Danny Garcia in his fucking tracks. That's the truth of the fact of the matter. All this stuff about Danny Garcia got a chin. His chin ain't been fucking tested for us to know if he has a green eye chin. And I believe Terrence Bud Crawford could drop his ass. That's my take. I don't want that kind of fight. At least not right now. But if that's the fight that is made, it is what it is. I prefer Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook. That would be a telltale fight for me. Let me explain why. Because Kell Brook is a big motherfucker. He's currently fighting at 154. So that means he would have to go back down to 147 because he wants the big fights. And Kell Brook has shown a propensity of going from weight class to weight class as long as the big fight is there. It's not always the smartest decision, but that's the decision he takes nevertheless. I don't know if that's that UK stock in him. It is what it is. That's the fight that I want to see Terrence Bud Crawford face. Kell Brook. And I believe if he fights that dude and he's able to stop that dude, that will say a lot to me about Terrence Bud Crawford and his ability to throw punches, his ability to have pop. at the welterweight division because he would have to stop Kell Brook. Because I believe that Kell Brook, a 75% Kell Brook, would give Terrence Bud Crawford hell. Why? Because of his size and his boxing ability. People forget, man. They don't call this dude Special K for nothing. The dude can fucking box. Am I sitting here saying that his boxing ability is on the level of a Terrence Bud Crawford? I won't say that. But it ain't too far off. And lest people forget, let's have to remind their ass, this was the dude that everyone was talking about at the welterweight division. Prior to Earl the True Spence putting his ass on bended knee in 11th round TKO stoppage. Prior to all of this stuff, when he beat Sean Porter, he was the guy at welterweight. He was the one that everybody was talking about. Lest you guys forget, let's have to remind y'all asses. Y'all was mentioning him. They were talking about him fighting Floyd Mayweather. That's the time when Mayweather was there. Him fighting Keith Thurman. Come on, folks. Don't act like y'all got amnesia. Don't act like y'all got dementia. Kell Brook was being talked as that special welterweight at that time. So he's going to pose more fits and more problems for a Terrence Bud Crawford than a Danny Garcia, because to me, he's a better boxer than a Danny Garcia. And Kell Brook is bigger. So I know that if he were to fight a Terrence Bud Crawford, he wouldn't be as tailor-made for a Terrence Bud Crawford. And Terrence Bud Crawford would have to go into the tool yard, in the tool shed, and bring some shit out to beat him. It wouldn't be as definitive as it would be for Danny Cherry Picking Garcia. He could easily exploit that dude. Easily demolish, expose, and trounce his ass. But that wouldn't be the case for Kell Brook. And folks got to see that for what it is. That's the next fight I want to see. Terrence Bud Crawford versus Kell Brook. That fight right there will tell me a lot about Terrence Bud Crawford. Because if he's able to beat Kell Brook in an emphatic fashion, that just brought his stock up at the welterweight division, and it showed me that, okay, this fight with Earl the True Smith is going to be even closer than what I thought. But I got to see him against Kell Brook, not against fucking Danny Cherry Picking Garcia. I don't need that fight because, like I said, he's a second-tier motherfucker. Kell Brook is a better fighter than Danny Garcia. And if people can't see that, you like this, the true boxing eye test. Can't help you out with that. You and your ultra fanboyism bullshit. This is He Knows His Sport. Checking out.